Hi everybody, Jane here, and I am reviewing the book Matilda today. And this is a middle grade classic that I've never read before, and I wasn't really sure what to expect going in. I knew it was about a girl who liked books, and I think a million years ago, not a million, but a long time ago, I probably kind of sort of watched the movie, but I didn't remember much about it. This book is about a girl named Matilda, and she is very smart for her age, probably genius level. She has taught herself how to read and has read books that are way too old for her age group. I mean, she's basically reading Dickens and she's 5. She goes to school and her teacher sees that she's brilliant, but her principal is a terrible person who doesn't like children and doesn't see that she's brilliant. And Matilda kind of does pranks on the adults in her world who are mean to her. And there's a little bit of a supernatural-ish thing happening. As you can probably tell from just my overview, I was underwhelmed by this book. I went into it with high expectations, expecting to really enjoy it, and I really didn't. It was a 3 out of 5 for me, and it probably would have been a 2 out of 5, except the ending was really good. I am gonna maybe try to see if my kids enjoy it, and it's something that just is not translating well because I'm an adult. And I'm also going to get the movie out because I was talking to my boyfriend about this, and he's seen the movie, and he's like, oh, you probably need to see the movie because it was really funny and humorous and a good time, and maybe that just didn't come out well from the pages of this book. And I guess that's possible. I had several issues with the book, and one of the things was just there is a lot of child abuse in this book, verbal and physical, and that really bothered me. Like, probably some of it in the movie does come off as funny because, like, the principal at one point picks this girl up by her pigtails and, like, twirls her around and throws her. But I had a real hard time with the child abuse in here and the verbal abuse. All the adults in this book, for the most part, are terrible people and are terribly abusive to Matilda and the other children. So that was a hard one for me to swallow. And then I had another issue, and this is more of a personal issue. I felt like there was a good bit of fat shaming going on in this book, and I really was offended by that. Matilda's mom and Mrs. Trunchbull, two of the really bad characters in this book, are big women. And Mrs. Honey, the only good adult in this book, is, and I quote, so slim and fragile that she would smash if she fell over. And I think just because it's mentioned several times that Trunchbull and the mom are fat, and also that people who eat in this book, like, are eating unhealthy, are doing terrible things. There's a girl at one point in the book that is, let me see if I can find it, she's eating a bag of chips, and she kind of does things to get the Matilda, like, to start being in trouble. And I don't know, it just really bothered me that she was, shown. She's not a fat character necessarily, but she's eating an unhealthy bag of chips, and she's terrible. And there was, like, a lot of focus on that. I'm not really sure why that bothered me, but I noticed it, and I felt bothered by it. That and the child abuse were things that just made it so I had a hard time enjoying the book. As far as Matilda herself, I thought she was a little extreme. Like, she plays tricks on people who she feels have treated her badly, and, like, yes, her parents are kind of crappy parents and kind of crappy people, but I didn't necessarily feel like what she did was terribly appropriate either. Again, and it could be that I'm just missing it because I didn't find this funny. I didn't find it cute. I didn't find it a little powerless underdog fighting the big world. I didn't. I did enjoy the end. I thought it ended well, and Matilda's special gifts were interesting. I would have liked to seen that a little earlier in the book because it did feel like it came out of left field for me. But yeah, it was an interesting. Matilda's an interesting character. I just didn't care for the tricks that she played on people. I didn't like that all the adults except for Miss Honey were terrible people. Yeah, I was hoping for something different maybe, and it just wasn't. So I'm a little disappointed this wasn't for me. I am going to watch the movie and see if maybe I can find some humor in that. I'm also going to give it a try on my kids if we can all handle the harsh, abusive language towards these children. Because it was a lot for me to handle. And I'm almost afraid to let my children read this because of how harshly Matilda is treated, which I guess in some ways kind of makes me sound like an overprotective helicopter mom, but I really just was bothered by a lot of elements of this story. So, very disappointed. I am going to read other books by this author, although I was talking to a friend who said that even though they're classic stories, sometimes there's issues in them and stuff that I may find a little jarring. So I'm a little less excited now about some of the other Dahl books that I want to read. We'll see what happens, but this was not my favorite. I kind of understand why it's a classic, and maybe for its time it was really brilliant, but I just couldn't handle the child abuse in this book. It bothered me a lot. And yeah. So that was my take on Matilda. I would love to hear what you thought of the book in the comments if you've read it. Like and subscribe, and my social media is below. See you next time. Bye.